Great. Let's start. Before starting, I would like to thank, first of all, Sapienza University of Rome for the invitation to take part today to this important meeting, and in particular, Professor Maria Felice Arezzo, Professor Vanni Ressa, and all the staff and the research team. I'm pleased and really honored to take part to this workshop, mainly because among the tasks of the Nucleo Guardia di Finanza per la repressione delle frodi nei confronti dell'Unione Europea, one of the most important is represented by the promotion of training and study initiatives also to improve action against fraud and correct information on the activities implemented by European and national institutions for the protection of the EU financial interests and in partnership with other national and foreign institutions, development of EU-funded projects. So before starting just few minutes, 2 minutes to introduce myself and my current job position, as anticipated by Maria Felice. I'm the coordinator of the technical secretariat of the committee to combat fraud against the EU budget, also known by its acronym COLAF in Italy. AFCOS for European at European level. It was established in 1992 at the Presidency of Council of Ministers and identified as the Italian Anti-Fraud Coordination Service, which represents the government's instrument responsible for the preparation and development of the national anti-fraud strategies, first of all, and the coordinating body for all the national administration and the competent services of the European Commission carry out activities to prevent and combat fraud, corruption, and other illegal activities detrimental to the EU financial interests and the EU budget, basically. Recently, the Decree Law number 19 of the 2nd March 2024 concerning further urgent provisions for the implementation of the National Recovery and Resilience Plan enhanced the function of COLAF, the Italian AFCOS, by extending them to the RRF field and also increased its membership. The COLAF, in its current composition, has more than 30 members. For instance, the new ones are represented by Court of Auditor, National Court of Auditor, obviously, the National Anti-Corruption Authority, the Financial Intelligence Unit of Bank of Italy, the National Anti-Terrorism Directorate, and so on. As things stand, the committee, chaired by the Minister for European Affairs, the National Recovery and Resilience Plan, the cohesion policies, performs advisory and steering functions for the coordination of activities, combat fraud and other unlawful acts, in particular on funding related to National Recovery and Resilience Plan, cohesion policies, structural fund for the programming cycle 2021-2027, and national funds related to these ones. Adapting and grouping risk indicators and their weights to the needs and specificities on EU funds, program, and country, and user artificial intelligence in analyzing and correctly interpreting data is the current and future challenges for EU and each individual member state. In our opinion, in order to prevent irregularities and fraud and thus favor more efficient and quality controls by increasing the level of certainty and reducing costs, it's appropriate basically to introduce explicit reference to the use of digital tools and emerging technologies such as machine learning, robotic process automation, data mining, and artificial intelligence, and to implement, where possible, certain actions and measures aimed at integrating relevant national IT systems or databases with the single integrated IT system for automatic exchange of information. Obviously, artificial intelligence, AI technologies depend on available data, and this is the crucial point in our opinion. Therefore, that data sharing in the EU should be more and more extensive and homogeneous in order to foster cross-border exchanges and innovation. For this very reason, data play an important fundamental role in the digital transformation of the EU artificial intelligence itself, which is one of the European priorities. Is linked to data, and its development will depend on how it's managed in each member state and in Europe, and how it's shared. The term big data refers to data sets collected that are so vast and complex that they need new technologies such as artificial intelligence to process them. Data usually come from many different sources. Often they are from the same time, but can also be a combination. Technology allows this data to be collected very quickly, so to save time, in few words, and most in real time, of course, and then analyzed in order to process new information. As Italy's AFCOS, we have for many time now attached the utmost importance to benchmarking new trends in the field with research into new technologies used in the fight against fraud and improving interoperability between the systems already in use at national level, at the European level, for better data sharing, in few words. With specific reference to the implementation of recommendation addressed by the European Commission to member states, including in the last annual report on protection of the EU financial interest in the fight against fraud, the so-called PIF report, and concerning specifically the further enhancement of the digitalization of the fight against fraud, the Italian AFCOS has for some time been active through the development of target projects with which a preliminary benchmarking of best databases, administrative police ones, has been carried out many years ago and oriented to the strengthening of the action to fight fraud in risk analysis and the improvement of interoperability between the tools, which is being progressively implemented through the technical developments of an integrated anti-fraud platform, the so-called PIFIT. This platform represents an innovative business intelligence tool developed in partnership with the Ministry of Economy and Finance and already made available to administrations involved in the various processes of control and/or implementation of the European funds, to collect and organize in specific reports all the main information that can be drawn from a specific data set, a huge, large data set, and traceable to the beneficiaries of public funding of European origin, and also to the recovery and resilience plan. Now, this platform is this platform that responds to specific European regulatory provisions on the need to design a focus audit and control activities on the basis of risk analysis and development of IT tools. This platform constitutes an integration technological tool, an additional tool to, in particular, Arachne, capable of interacting and collecting an integration technological data, a lot of data from an heterogeneous external data set containing national databases, European databases, which will bring the definite benefits in preventing and combating corruption, basically frauds, conflict of interest, and duplication of funding. PFIT is in fact complementary, as anticipated, is a complementary support tool to the one already in use at European level, Arachne, and in general to any other tool that enables the effectiveness of the fight against fraud to be implemented, such as, for instance, a unified monitoring system, REGIS for our National Recovery Resilient Plan, as well as MOCOP and CIAF at police force level. We are therefore talking about a key step aimed at improved tools or technologies in use or planned to be used in the anti-fraud field, as well as sharing data between different national and European administrations and automating the exchange of information. Indeed, We believe that the main challenge in accelerating the digitization of the fight against fraud in the area of integration with existing systems and the use of artificial intelligence to improve the prevention, detection, and investigation of fraud against the EU budget is crucial. As emerged during the various threat to meetings, a distinction needs to be made between the classical data-driven approach and the modern use of data analysis based on machine learning and artificial intelligence, the enhancement of which offers surprising new opportunities to strengthen the prevention of the protection of EU financial interests. Precisely in this regard, I would like to highlight what emerged during the last meeting of the Working Group of the Fight Against Fraud, GAF, of the EU Council held a few weeks ago, where one of the most relevant topics concerned the interest of several EU countries, including Italy, to be informed about the activities of the group of experts at the Directorate of the Commission that is discussing the future data mining and risk scoring tool. At the same meeting, the need for an increasing use of Arachne or the Arachne tool by the member states also emerged, recalling that according to the current financial regulation number 2024-2509, laying down the financial rules applicable to the general budget of the Union, feeding Arachne with data will be compulsory from 2027, and the new financial framework and its use may become mandatory. As a country, we hope that the Arachne tool can be equipped with artificial intelligence to detect fraud patterns, which could reduce the number of risk indicators. Given the need to develop and explore the use of new risk analysis-oriented technologies for the management of irregularities and fraud, we have repeatedly emphasized the importance of proper data management, because having good quality and readily available data is the cornerstone of any risk analysis. It's very important for member states to be able to assess whether they have put in place effective and proportionate anti-fraud measures, taking into account the identified risks to integrate the functionalities of Arachne risk analysis with any other national evaluation IT systems, possibly through increased use of machine learning and artificial intelligence. In this area, in order to be able to capture as many fraudulent schemes as possible, as soon as possible, in order to prevent and offer quick reaction, especially those of a cross-border nature, for instance, VAT frauds or undervaluation frauds, as seen yesterday during the previous meeting held in Louvain. We consider it particularly effective to implement also through the use of AI, and for each individual type of fund, not only statistical methods for risk indicators, but also a hierarchy of factors and keywords relating to each part of typical fraudulent conduct. A veritable semantic taxonomy to be declined as a common guideline and to be applied also through the use of artificial intelligence, and this, as a suggestion, for instance, could be one of the first activities of permanent observatory for which we are laying the foundation with this project initiative. In conclusion, with regard to the profile relating both to the protection of EU financial interests and to improve the reporting of irregularities and fraud and the follow-up of suspected wrongdoing, the need for more timely reporting to and from national and the European institutions with increasingly reliable and complete data is to be welcomed. And in this area too, the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence models can certainly be a great help, not least because it will make it possible to shift the focus from the detection to prevention. With reference to the profile relating to speeding up the process of digitizing the fight against fraud, I would finally like to point out that in the area under the strict responsibility of the Italian AFCOS, the digitalization of the fight against fraud has been improved by means of interoperability between the systems already in use to optimize data sharing and staff training. It's abundantly clear that the storage and analysis of large quantities of data, thanks also to the use of artificial intelligence, will allow a further step forward in improving the quality of this data and consequently the activities to prevent, investigate, and repress irregularities and fraud. But obviously, a fundamental step in this fight against fraud is to make data available. That's all from my side. The floor is back to you. I'm here for any kind of question. Thanks a lot.